Welcome back to The Ed Show. America's favorite half-term governor, Sarah Palin, is bravely taking it upon herself to put the Christ back in Christmas. In her latest book, Good Tidings and Great Joy, Protecting the Heart of Christmas, Palin takes on angry atheists who she claims are waging a war on religious freedom in America, which is why this exchange came as such a surprise.
What do you make of Pope Francis? What do you think of him?
I'm kind of trying to follow what his agenda is. You know, I'm surprised that he came out with a couple of things in the media, but then again, I'm not one to trust the media's interpretation of somebody's message. But having read through media outlets that he's had some statements that to me sound kind of liberal, has taken me aback. It's kind of surprised me. But there again, you know, unless I really dig deep into what his messaging is and do my own homework, I'm not going to just trust what I hear in the media.
Pope Francis has earned the universal praise for his more populist approach to the papacy. He's shunned the luxury accommodations. He's urged Catholics to take the focus off controversial social issues like gay marriage and abortion. Instead, Pope Francis has used his position to focus on charity and helping the poor or less fortunate in the world. I don't want to spoil the New Testament for Palin because it sounds like she hasn't read it yet. But if she's taken aback by Pope Francis' liberal Christianity, she is in for a real shock when she reads about Jesus. Palin took to Facebook to clear things up with this writing. It was not my intention, she said, to be critical of Pope Francis. I was reminding viewers that we need to do our own homework on news subjects. Palin then went on to say her Catholic friends and family have since assured me that Pope Francis is as sincere and faithful a shepherd of his church. I apologize for not being clear in my response. Sarah Palin apologizing. She must have got a lot of heat from Catholics. Joining me now on our rapid response panel, E.J. Dionne, Washington Post columnist, and MSNBC contributor Ruth Conniff of the Progressive magazine, joining us tonight. Well, is it a liberal position to care about the poor, or is it a conservative position to care about the poor? Is Sarah Palin against poor people in this statement? E.J. Dionne, your thoughts on this unfolding?
Well, see, until she caved on her statement, I was going to do something never before attempted on the Ed Show. I was going to defend Sarah Palin and say, yes, the Pope is, from her point of view, more than a little bit liberal. I mean, this is a Pope who said, while the income of a minority is increasing exponentially, that of a majority is crumbling. He's criticized an economic system which has as its center an idol called money. Now, no, Pope Francis is not a conventional liberal. He's pro-life, he's anti-abortion, but the center of his message really has been about our obligations to the poor, and a really quite radical message to American ears about the problems with unregulated capitalism. But he has also inspired a great deal of love among Catholics because he actually walks his talk, and he doesn't live in the big papal apartments, and he used to take mass transit to work. He is an inspiring figure, but he is definitely to the left of Sarah Palin when it comes to economics.
Ruth Conniff, what effect could this Pope have on social attitudes in this country when we have income inequality at a torrid pace going opposite directions? You have workers' rights being attacked. You have, well, we're going to cut food stamps. How about that? I mean, with the Pope being so visible and so outspoken on these issues, could he push social change in America for the better?
I think so. I mean, there is a fine progressive tradition in Catholicism, and we see it, you know, in this country when we see Paul Ryan rebuked when he goes to speak at Georgetown by the group of Jesuits there who said, you know, your budget is not in keeping with Catholic doctrine, that Christianity at its core is about social justice. It's not about wealth. It's about caring for the poor. It's about doing good. And I think that that's a message that a lot of American Catholics have been yearning to hear. And I think when the Pope says that the Church has been obsessed with abortion and homosexuality when he says, who am I to judge gay people? And he wants to return to the more important issue of economic justice and taking care of people, that's a really welcome message for progressive Catholics all over this country who do the work of running food pantries, who really care about what's happening to their flock.
This war on Christmas, this is an old pony that Fox News people have ridden for a long time. I guess it's Sarah Palin's turn this holiday season. She claims that the Pope has an agenda. What about his belief system? E.J. Dionne, faithfully, there are two different things, aren't they?
Well, I think it is worth remembering that Jesus was born in a manger and that there was no room in the inn for him. And a lot of Christians, especially poor Christians, have drawn a lot of inspiration from that over the years. I mean, the whole war on Christmas thing is just a horribly divisive thing. I don't see, I mean, if you want to talk about a war on Christmas, talk about the commercialization of Christmas, which is not an issue she's going to raise. And I just want to underscore something Ruth said, which is when you look at the Catholic Church and look at the work it does among poor people and homeless people, it's really inspiring. And you can already see an impact of Pope Francis on the American Church. Cardinal Sean O'Malley up in Boston gave an interview in the Boston Globe this week right before the bishops' meeting in Baltimore. And he said the church needs to call attention, a lot more attention, to this work that the church does. So this is not just the Pope speaking. I think he's having an effect all the way down the line in the church.
Well, with these Tea Partiers, I mean, it's black and white. There's no gray area. Liberal is bad. It's a liberal position to help the poor. The Pope wants to help the poor. He's very clear on that. He wants to focus on that. So how are I'm sure there's some Tea Party Catholics out there. Ruth Conniff, how are they going to balance this?
I mean, I think conservative Catholics are struggling. They're clearly struggling with the fact that the highest authority in the church is telling them that their message is wrong, that Christianity is not, you know, the spiritual values of the Catholic Church are not about bashing gay people and spreading hate and enriching the rich at the expense of the poor. In fact, quite the opposite. So I think that's a struggle for people. But let's face it, you know, the conservatives in this country, and really not conservatives, but the right-wingers and the Tea Partiers, have tried to say that they have a monopoly on things like Christmas and freedom and, you know, religious values, and it's just preposterous. It's not true. You know, I liked it when you said there's a center-left majority in this country. I think that's right, and I think that people who really are serious about their core beliefs and about something bigger than this world and you know, shopping, really care about the consistency of that message, and I think that they're really happy to see what the Pope has to say.
Ruth Conniff, E.J. Dionne, great to have you with us tonight. Thanks for the discussion.